One of the ways that we think about organizations these days is by using the systems approach to management. This is one of the contemporary theories, which basically uses the idea that a business is like an organism, a living organism. So much like you or I, we live in an environment, and our ability to do so successfully depends on our ability to get food and water and shelter. All right, and then to do a number of things. So too must an organization. An organization exists inside of a business ecosystem. And in order for that organization to ultimately be successful, they have to bring in resources from that environment in the form of raw materials, capital, human labor, and as well as information. And so those are the variety of inputs that an organization brings in. And then inside the organization, there is a transformational process that takes place. At the end result of that transformational process are going to be a number of outputs, their product or service that they're offering, as well as any waste materials. And then it is up to the organization then to move those waste materials into the environment, as well as move their product and services into the environment. And then based upon how well they do that, they use feedback. That is one of the forms of inputs. It becomes information that is input into the organization. So going back to the idea of an organization is very similar to your human body. Your human body is made up of a number of systems. You have the digestive system, you have the respiratory system, circulatory system, and so forth. And so each one of those systems is also composed of smaller pieces. So circulatory system, you have the heart, you have the arteries and veins and capillaries and blood, and then each one of those things we can then break down into smaller pieces as well, because it is a system too. And so there's also a degree of interrelatedness that takes place inside not only your body, but also inside of an organization. So like, for instance, if you eat some bad food, the problem that bad food causes is not constrained to your digestive system, but can also influence other parts and other systems as well. And so that is where we start to really see the use of the systems approach to management, because that change in one subsystem can influence a separate subsystem. So how we do things in HR could influence ultimately how we do things in marketing. How we do things in accounting could influence how we do things in sales, much like that bad food isn't contained to just a problem in your stomach. And so we can use this system approach not only to better understand how organizations work, but also to help us design organizational change so we can understand what the impacts of a change in one system might have on other parts, or if we need to change some part of the organization, what are the various things that we could do, various levers we could pull to cause that change. But we also how to diagnose problems. All right, so if we have a problem in one system, what are the things that could be causing that? And so those are the applications of the open system perspective. This is, of course, in contrast to the closed system perspective, which is basically as long as these systems inside the organization function, the organization will be successful. That's how businesses used to approach this problem. But changes in technology, changes in the global business environment showed us that model, that approach to management and to running a business was no longer effective.